The Sagrada Família church was proposed as a new church for the new part of Barcelona that was emerging in the middle of the 19th century. Gaudi worked on the project for 43 years, from 1883 to 1926, when unfortunately he was run over by a tram. He's aged 74. So it's not often that an architect has a project dominating the entire career, effectively. But even more extraordinary is that it wasn't a building that Gaudi started, and it wasn't finished in his time either. During the Civil War, Gaudi's workshop, which was on site, was attacked by vandals and set on fire. And the models that he used, the large-scale plaster models, which hold all the secrets, were broken into pieces, and the drawings burnt. Well, being involved in the project for 31 years, I would have to admit that up until last year, most of those years were spent thinking only about the here and now. The difficulty of resolving the complex building, getting the next bit built. And I think all of us got a shock last year when the interior was opened. If it took so long, why would it be a shock? It's because right up until within a few months of the Pope's visit, it still was full of scaffolding. So if anybody going into the building as late as June, I think, would have seen a building site, very much a building site. And then the scaffolding was removed, and suddenly in the last 2 or 3 months, for the first time ever, we were seeing all of the building as a whole space. And I think it was a shock to see that actually something that had always been so far on the horizon, over the horizon, as to not even be worth thinking about, was tangible. I suspect there is a sense now that everybody working there, that I hope that they will be able to see the project completed in their own time on the project, because it's so palpably achievable. Most of us on the project are using software which is not the first choice for architects, but it's actually of a richness that can deal with the complexity of the building. So that's the last 20 years have been characterized by a sort of digital design, and before that it was all models made by hand and drawings. The way we use the computer today is much closer to the way that Gaudi modelled in plaster of Paris than the drawing process. So I argue actually the computer has brought us closer to the way Gaudi worked himself. In Australia, we typically design the building, and then we find the consultants that will help along the way. And then when we've got the building design, we'll then look for a builder, and there's a tendering process we go through. The Sagrada Família is completely different. Every decision that's made is made in concert with the builder, who's part of the team. It's in concert with the consultants, who are also part of the team. And it's in consultation with the people who are drawing it. We work as a team, we work as a family. It means that there aren't significant disputes. Everybody has a chance to chip in at a time when it can actually affect the project. You're not asking a builder to build the impossible. The builder's already had a chance to point out whether something is viable or not. I think it points to the future, to be honest. At RMIT, we've got a very coherent group of designers. I believe that we were natural choices for the Sagrada Família because of our knowledge as a team, but we also were very well set up with equipment, very high-end equipment with the latest software. The sort of things that architectural practices couldn't afford at the time, and still can't really now because of the very nature of it. And I think that's where the Sagrada Família was so smart, was to actually form relationships with universities that could access the equipment that they wouldn't reasonably afford. There's a generosity intrinsic, I think, in Catalonia as a nation. It doesn't have a boundary around art or talent or whatever. Crucially, it's a country with a staying power. It can start a project like that in 1882. They can lose the architect in 1926 with only a fraction of the building complete, and still have the staying power and the resilience to do that. A fantastic model for us in Australia for how to get behind a cultural project of its nature.